The digital age has redefined how we listen, watch, and connect. But beneath the glittering charts and record-breaking numbers lies a storm brewing in the heart of the music industry. In a shocking twist, global rap superstar Drake finds himself at the center of a massive controversy. Accused of racking up billions of fraudulent streams on Spotify, a newly filed class action lawsuit claims that the world's biggest music platform may have turned a blind eye to fake plays that tipped the balance of royalties, rewarding a few while draining the earnings of thousands of lesser-known artists. What seems like just another viral headline could, in fact, be one of the biggest legal battles in modern music, one that threatens to expose how the streaming world really works. As the case unfolds, it's not only Drake's reputation on the line, but the credibility of the entire streaming ecosystem. In this documentary, we dive deep into the allegations, the data patterns that raise suspicion, and the far-reaching consequences this lawsuit could have on artists, labels, and the future of digital music. Stay tuned, because what you're about to discover might change the way you see your favorite streaming app forever. As the lawsuit unfolds, the accusations cut deep into the core of how the streaming industry operates. Filed in the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California, the case doesn't directly name Drake as a defendant, yet it positions him at the heart of the controversy, using his astronomical streaming numbers as the clearest example of what could be a much bigger manipulation scheme. According to the complaint, Spotify's royalty system, the very structure that determines how artists are paid, has been quietly distorted by a flood of fake or automated streams. These streams, often generated by bots or networks using VPNs, allegedly inflate the popularity of top-charting artists, creating an illusion of dominance while starving smaller creators of their rightful income. The lawsuit argues that Spotify knowingly benefited from this system. By allowing inflated streams to remain unchecked, the platform could boast higher user engagement and streaming totals, metrics that drive advertising sales, investor confidence, and overall market value. In simple terms, fake streams don't just deceive the audience, they tilt the entire playing field. Every fraudulent play credited to a superstar artist means a legitimate musician somewhere earns less. For emerging artists, this could mean the difference between surviving and vanishing in an industry already stacked against them. The plaintiffs claim to possess data showing abnormal listening behaviors tied to specific songs, unusually high play counts in short time frames, repeated streams from single IP addresses, and activity patterns suggesting non-human repetition. While no evidence has yet directly linked these patterns to Drake himself, the lawsuit paints a picture of systemic negligence, an ecosystem where the rich get richer and algorithms amplify the illusion. At its core, the case isn't merely about one artist or one company. It's a reckoning for how digital music is valued and distributed. If proven true, the allegations could force a seismic change in the global music economy, demanding greater transparency and accountability from platforms that control what the world listens to. The shockwaves from this lawsuit extend far beyond Drake or even Spotify itself. They ripple through the entire architecture of modern music. If the allegations prove true, they could unravel one of the biggest myths of the digital era, that streaming is a fair and transparent reflection of what the world truly listens to. Spotify, a company built on the promise of democratizing access to music, now faces questions about whether its algorithms and systems have quietly reinforced inequality instead. The streaming giant could be forced to re-examine not only its anti-fraud measures, but the very foundation of its payment structure, a system where all streams are pooled and divided by total volume, rewarding dominance rather than diversity. For the broader industry, the implications are enormous. Artists have long complained about shrinking payouts and opaque accounting, but this case could mark the first major legal test of whether the streaming economy itself has been manipulated from within. Smaller artists may see this as a long-awaited reckoning, a chance to challenge a system that often leaves them invisible while a handful of stars monopolize the charts. If courts rule that Spotify failed to prevent or detect large-scale fraud, the company could face not only financial penalties, but also be pressured to adopt a more user-centric royalty model, where each listener's subscription directly supports the artists they actually stream. Meanwhile, Meanwhile, labels, distributors, and advertisers are watching closely. A confirmed case of fake streaming at this scale could shatter investor confidence and trigger widespread audits across platforms. It would mean tighter regulations, new transparency laws, and possibly independent oversight of how digital royalties are calculated. Beyond the numbers, though, the deeper question looms. Has music's digital revolution been compromised by the very technology that promised to save it? As the dust settles from the initial media frenzy, the case now moves into a critical phase. Filed in early November 2025, the lawsuit has only just begun its journey through the U.S. District Court system, but already it has captured global attention. Spotify has firmly denied any wrongdoing, emphasizing its heavy investments in fraud detection and insisting that manipulation undermines the very foundation of its platform. The company's legal team is preparing a full defense, arguing that while stream fraud exists, it's not systemic and certainly not something the platform has encouraged. Yet, in the court of public opinion, the narrative has already taken on a life of its own. Investigators are now combing through millions of data points, searching for patterns that might distinguish genuine engagement from artificial activity. This process could take months, possibly years, as experts analyze user behavior, geolocation data, and account histories. Meanwhile, artists' unions, record labels, and independent creators are rallying behind the lawsuit, demanding greater accountability from streaming platforms that have become the modern gatekeepers of music. Industry insiders believe this could set a powerful legal precedent, forcing all major platforms to disclose how royalties are distributed, a level of transparency long resisted by the streaming giants. What comes next could reshape the entire digital music economy. If the plaintiffs succeed, Spotify may face not only massive compensation claims, but also the pressure to overhaul its royalty system. A ruling in their favor could open the floodgates for similar lawsuits against other platforms, from Apple Music to YouTube, ushering in a new era of regulation and reform. But if Spotify prevails, it could strengthen the platform's dominance, signaling that the industry must continue operating under its current opaque rules. Either way, the outcome will echo far beyond one artist or one company. It's a turning point, a moment that could redefine what fairness, value, and authenticity mean in the streaming age. And that's where things stand, a billion-dollar standoff between fame, technology, and truth. The Spotify controversy has cracked open a conversation the music industry can no longer ignore. Whether this lawsuit ends in a courtroom victory or quiet settlement, one thing is clear: the way we count, value, and celebrate music will never be the same again. The next few months could expose secrets hidden behind streaming numbers and challenge everything we thought we knew about digital success. So what do you think? Are these inflated numbers a reflection of fan power, or a sign that the system's been hacked from within? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'll be reading every one. If you found this breakdown insightful, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into the stories shaping music, money, and power. Until next time, stay curious, stay critical, and keep questioning the numbers behind the fame.